I love Christmas songs. I'm one of those nerdy people that like as soon as Thanksgiving is over, but not before, it is just Christmas music. For the 4 weeks, I'm Christmas music. I'm a gym teacher and we were rocking out to Christmas music. From Thanksgiving to Christmas, kids would come up and they'd be like, can I listen to whatever song? I'm like, is it Christmas? And they said, no. I'm like, tough. You can listen to it after Christmas because we're listening to Christmas music. I love it. I love Christmas music. I love, I Want a Hippopotamus. I love that one. Do you guys know Something Stuck Up in the Chimney? Okay, you need to listen to it. It's one of my students, he's like, Miss Holt, this is dark. Basically, Santa gets stuck up in the chimney forever, and he doesn't come. It's a great one. There's I Want an Alien for Christmas. Some lesser known but funny songs you should look up. But this season, as I was listening, this Oh Holy Night, whenever I would hear it, and is it Mariah Carey? One of the girl phenoms sings a really good version. And every time it would play, there's this one part of it that would just like pop for me, really stand out for me. And it was this verse. It says, long lay the world in sin and airy pining until he appeared and the soul felt its worth. And the soul felt its worth. And I thought, what does that mean? The soul felt its worth, and I want it. Whatever it means, I want it. You know what I mean? I want my soul to feel its worth, because that sounds amazing. And I often ask myself, like, why did Jesus come? Like, why? I'm one of those people, like, why? My parents are here today. I'm sure my mom could tell you stories of them 80,000 times. I asked her, why? Why does this happen? Why does it have to be like this? And so when I think about Christmas and I think about writing a Christmas message, I'm like, why? Why did Jesus have to come? Why did he have to come out of heaven? It's perfect in heaven. Why did he come down in this stupid world where people get hurt and people get sick and bad things happen and we struggle? Why did he come down into all this mess? Why did he have to do that? And then I look at like what it was like before Jesus came. Now, God, when I first read the Bible, I was like, man, God got a major attitude adjustment once Jesus was born. Jesus must have like chilled him out. But I've realized now that's not the case. Humans twisted it. You know what I mean? Like God has always been good, but we humans, we don't understand that, so we twist it. And so the religious leaders back before Jesus twisted it. And they made it sound like the only way for God to love you was for you to come to synagogue every month, every day, every week. You got to follow all the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you got to pay a price. And you got to try your best to be really perfect. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I can't do it. And that's exhausting. It is exhausting trying to be perfect all the time. It is exhausting trying to act like everything's perfect all the time. And the whole try hard method has not worked for me. And I think about like the soul felt its worth. Like, is that what God is like? Like, what does that look like? And so then I think like, what did that look like in real life? What does that look like before Jesus and after Jesus? Because I don't think the Jewish people, these are God's people. So God like came down to one family and he's like, I'm going to be with you guys. So anybody who's not in this family, sorry about you. And how do you join a family? You're born into it, you marry into it, or you get adopted. Well, people weren't getting adopted before Jesus came on the scene. So like Jesus came on the scene so he could be adopted and be a part of the family. But like, what does it really mean when Jesus comes into your life? What does it really mean when you get adopted? I think a lot of people think like, oh, well, I believe, I wear my I believe shirt, and I go to church, and I'm a good person, so therefore I believe. But if you're not living a life where your soul feels its worth, are you? Are you really living like Jesus came? And so then I think, like, so what does this look like practically, Stephanie? Like, give me an example. So, like, it's funny, I didn't realize my dad was going to be here when I wrote this message. My dad, God love him, he's wearing his Santa hat. He's like, do you think they'll mind if I wear my Santa hat? I said, you do you, Dad, you wear your Santa hat. He, when I was a little kid, he had to get a job to support his family, and so he got a job at the Ford plant, and he will tell you it sucked. Getting up at 4 a.m, to go rivet the same bolt 8,000 times a day and get carpal tunnel sucked. It was awful. He hated it. They were not nice people. If he had a good idea about how to make things better, like, shut up. You're just a lineman. Get out of my face. Do your job. One day he was driving to work, and he literally got washed off the road in his truck. And he called, and he's like, I'm going to be late because I'm in the middle of a creek right now. I got washed off the road. And they're like, well, you're going to get a demerit or whatever they were called. You're going to get points because you were late. He's like, I'm in a creek. Like, I'm trapped. And they're like, we don't care. You're not here. We don't care about your excuses. You get your mark. You're in trouble. You know, when my grandparents died, he got his 3 requisite days, the end. Come back to your 10-hour shift. We don't care if you're hurting or struggling. Get your butt back on the line. And that was the way they treated him. His soul did not feel its worth at the Ford plant. And then I think about my job. I'm a teacher. I have an amazing principal. I've had amazing principals my whole time I've been at Ludlow. My current principal, I got a new classroom, and I had these 3 dumb desks that were giant. And I have a lot of kids. I have a kind of big classes in a medium-sized room. But these 3 desks were making it look like my room was really small. I'm like, I don't know why I have these dumb desks. They're giant, and they're weird shaped. They don't fit together with anything. And I said, can you please find me 3 more desks? She's like, I will go. She herself took the desks out of my room and went and got me new desks. Whenever I knock on the door, and you could not pay me enough to be a principal. Whenever I knock on her door, she's like, come on in. I'm like, do you have time? Are you busy? She's like, I'm never too busy. Come on in. And I have some crazy ideas sometimes. And I'll come in and be like, I got a crazy idea. And she'll listen, and I know she's thinking, you're right, that is a crazy idea. And she'll say, I love the way your mind thinks. We're not going to do that, but I love the way your mind thinks. You know, like she listens. She encourages me if I have a good idea that can be done. She's like, let's do it. You want to do that? That's a great idea. Come on, let's do it. When I leave her office, my soul feels its worth because she sees me. She believes in me. She cares about me. And I love that. And that is a huge difference in the workplace. If you work with someone who actually sees you and cares about you, and someone who, to them, you're just a cog in the wheel. In the workplace, that's what it looks like. And I was praying about the Christmas message, and I was like, God, what I knew I wanted the soul fellowship with. It was just like repeat on my head. And I was like, what story in the Bible which of the Christmas stories should I teach today? He's like, John 4, and I'm like, Jesus, that's Jesus at the well. That's not a Christmas story. And he's like, yeah, that's what I want to talk about, but okay, God, whatever you say. So I turned to it because I was like, I'm gonna be honest, Paul's gonna be mad if I don't tell the Christmas story. But like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, yes, this. So any of you who have been in church before, I look around the room, any of you grew up in church, I know you know the story of Jesus and the lady at the well, but I'm gonna show you how this is a Christmas story. I'm gonna reframe it for you today. It is a Christmas story. It says, wearied by his long journey. So Jesus, and he had this band of guys, and they would go from town to town, and he would teach and stuff, heal people, and do miracles, and feed thousands of people. And then they would like carry on to another little town. And they're walking from point A to point B, and their enemies lived in the middle. So they were like, okay, we're going to go this way. And Jesus is like, nah, I think we should go like straight through. And they're like, but Jesus, if we go straight through, we have to go through Samaria. We don't want to go through Samaria. Those people are jerks. They don't like us. He's like, come on, let's go. We just watched the Chosen version of this not too long ago. And they're like, Jesus, it's not safe there. We don't want to go that way. He's like, just follow me. Come on, guys, it'll be fine. And I know they're all like, oh, he's losing it. He's going to get us beat up. But they go anyways. So they're walking and they get tired. And so they're, weary by their long journey. So he's like, Jesus is like, I'm going to sit here on this well. You guys go into town and get some snacks for us. And so he's sitting there at the well, which ironically, it's the well that his ancestor Jacob built. So he's sitting at this well, and this woman comes. It's as soon as a Samaritan woman came to draw water, and he's like, hey, give me a drink. Which when you read this, it sounds like he's being a jerk, but it wasn't. They just spoke very directly. He's like, give me a drink. She's like, why are you talking to me? She's like, why is a Jewish man asking a Samaritan woman for a drink of water? Because you know, Jesus, Jews don't talk to Samaritans. We're not friends. And he said, if only you knew who I am and the gift that God wants to give to you, you would ask me for a drink, and I would give you living water. He says, they talk a little more. She's like, living water, what is that? And he's like, if you drink from Jacob's well, if you come here every day, you're just going to be thirsty every day. Every day, you're still going to be thirsty. He says, but anyone who drinks living water that I have for them, you will never be thirsty. The water I drink becomes a gushing fountain of the Holy Spirit, flooding you with endless life. And your soul fills its joy. See, the old way of religion, the way that the Jewish leaders were telling people that they need to get to God, is you need to come to the well. You need to come to a building once a week for your TED Talk, get your little shot of feel good, pay your penalty for all the times you were a jerk. See you next week. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And Jesus is like, aren't you tired of this? Aren't you tired of this striving method? Aren't you tired of trying to do good all the time? Aren't you tired of this system of religion that brings you no life, that leaves you constantly parched and thirsty? He's like, if you come to what God has for you, I got something for you. When you believe in me, I've got something for you. You are going to become a gushing fountain of the Holy Spirit. You don't have to come to the well anymore. You are the well. You become the well. Think about how you will never be thirsty if you are the well. You know what I mean? And so she's like, give me some of that. I'm tired of walking out here. You guys, when I was in South Africa on a mission trip, they had like a well. And so like anytime you wanted water, you had to carry, do you guys know water weighs 8 pounds per gallon? So you want to cook, you want to wash dishes, you want to wash your clothes, you want to drink a water, you got to walk to the end of the block and cart 8 pounds per gallon back to your house. No wonder she's like, yeah, give me some of that. Because this is terrible. This whole trudging up this hill every day and carrying all this water, that's awful. And she's like, let me drink that. I don't want to be thirsty. I don't want to have to come back to this stupid well. He's like, okay, why don't you go get your husband and bring him back here? She's like, what about that? She's like, I'm not actually married. He's like, yeah, I know, that's true. You've actually been married 5 times. And now you're living with a man who's not even your husband. You're telling the truth. He's like, yeah, you're right. You're shacking up with a guy who's not your husband right now because you've already been married 5 times. He's calling her out, but he's like, again, I read this, I'm like, dang, Jesus is like dropping a truth bomb. But he's not condemning her. He's saying, I've got something awesome for you, and I can prove that I care about you because even though I know that you're in sin and error pining, I'm going to still give you this gushing fountain of everlasting life. Because that song, it says, long lay the world in sin and error pining. This woman was living in sin and error, and she was waiting. Because she says to him, she's like, I don't even know about all this. She's like, man, you are tripping me out. I don't even know what you're talking about. She's like, I cannot even wrap my head around what you were talking about right now. What I do know is that there's an anointed one coming, the real Messiah, and when he gets here, he's going to tell us everything we need to know. Because the people of Samaria were still from the lineage, those of you who have been in the Christian faith, of Abraham. They were still of that lineage. So she knew there were prophets before Jesus came along. There were prophets who would predict about Jesus. And one of them was Isaiah. And Isaiah says, here's the Christmas scripture you guys all know. Charlie Brown says it, or Linus, whichever peanut, reads the Christmas story in the Charlie Brown Christmas special, this is what he reads. He says, to us a child is born, a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. She's like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about, living water. I don't know. Do you have spies? Like, do you have cameras in my house? How do you know my business? I don't know. She's like, I'm very confused about what you're saying, but what I do know is this guy's coming. Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. That guy is going to come and make everything right. And whenever he comes, then I'm going to be happy. And then Jesus says, oh, you don't have to wait any longer. The Anointed One is here, is me. I'm the one. I'm the one you're looking for. And I can think, like, if someone told me something that unfathomable, I would just stand there like, wait, what? Huh? And she stands there for a minute, like, waiting and processing, and she's holding her jugs of water. And as she's doing that, the disciples are coming back from getting the snacks. And then she's like, oh, snap. And she drops the water, and she goes running into town. She's like skipping and frolicking. And she's like, oh my gosh, you guys, everybody come out. You got to meet this man. He told me everything I've ever done. He's got to be the one we're waiting for. When she finally got it, when she finally believed it, her soul felt its worth. This woman was living in sin and error, pining for the Anointed One. She was waiting for Jesus to come. She was waiting for the Messiah to come. She didn't understand exactly what it was going to be, but she knew it was going to be good. And when he came, and when she realized it and believed it, she was like, couldn't even contain herself. She is running through the streets, skipping and shouting, everybody come on out here. You gotta see this guy. It's him. He's here. Her soul felt its worth. And I think I have this. Do I have the next? Yeah. And she was filled with a thrill of hope. Her weary soul was rejoicing. A new and glorious morning was bursting into her life. We live in a yucky world where people get sick and there's death and people are poor and people feel unseen and they feel unloved and we feel beat down and we don't see hope and we just can't figure out, we can't figure out how can this possibly get better. We are living in a world that stinks. But when Jesus comes into your life, when you truly believe, not just like, yeah, I can get behind the fact that he lived. No, when you truly believe that he is the one, when you truly say, all right, dude, I'm in. I don't get it, but I'm in. Your soul feels its worth. And then there's a thrill of hope. And then your weariness, you can rejoice in your weariness. And then new things break out in your life. Jesus was born 2,000 years ago. But every single time one of us says, all right, God, I don't get it, but I'm in. I believe you. He's born again. And they use that. I know some of you you're like, I don't know, that born again word is weird, Stephanie. I don't know how I feel about that. But when you say yes to Jesus, truly say yes, he is born in you, and your soul feels its worth. And there is hope in hopeless situations. There is rejoicing when you are weary. There are new things around the corner that can bring you life and vitality when you don't see a possible way for things to work out for you. That's the Christmas story. The Christmas story is when you say yes and Jesus is born to you and your soul feels its worth. Because you know what? After that woman went and told all those people, all the people from the town came out and were like, we got to see this. She's like, he told me everything. He gets me. He saw what a jerk I have been. I've been a bad person. She was persona non grata in her town. She was there at noon. Nobody wanted to be around that lady. And yet they're all like, I don't like her, but I'm going to go see what's going on. And Jesus stayed there, and more people came to faith because of that message. Because she's like, he's it. I don't understand it, but he's it. And I'm in. That's what happens when we let Jesus into our hearts. That is the true meaning of Christmas. You say yes, and your soul feels its worth. And so as we sing this song, we light these candles. You know, the candle signals the light that each of us holds. Jesus was one candle. And then he touched that woman at the well. Her name was Fatini. He touched Fatini's candle. It felt its worth, and it sparked to life. And so we're going to do this thing where we turn out the lights. We're going to start with one candle. And it's going to light. Because that's what Fatini did. Jesus touched hers, and it lit hers up. And then she went into town, and she's like, you got to see this guy. You got to hear him. Ding, ding, ding. And more lights lit up. And how do we chase away the darkness of this dark world? We light our lights. We let Jesus be the light in our life. When your friends and family see the hard thing you're going through, and they see you still getting up and putting a smile on your face, and they're like, how do you do that? You're like, I got a little light. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Right? And when they see that, and they're going through something hard, they're like, I need that. I need that light you got, because I don't have it right now. So as you light this candle, I want you to think about if there's already been a time in your life when your soul felt its worth because of Jesus. And if not, be like, Jesus, I'm not feeling it. I need you to light my light too. I need you, Jesus, to share your light with me, because I want my soul to feel its worth. I want to feel seen. I want to feel loved. I don't want to be a cog in the wheel of life. I want to be loved by God. I want to have your light, I want to carry it, and I want to be a gushing fountain of your light and love on everyone else that I meet. That's the Christmas story. So, do we sing it I think we sing it while we do it? Yeah. So, if you guys want to stand, I hope no one's scared of the dark. John's going to kill the lights. Is John awake back there? If you want to get your candles ready. So I'm going to get Michelle and George, and then you guys are going to go light. Okay?
Take care of me and Greg.
And I'll get you two? Yeah.